Heart in pieces, torn apart. Felt so low, couldn't see the way. Thought I'd never find the day. Broken down, but I'm not done. Picking up the pieces, one by one. Rising up, stronger than before. I'm finding me, I'm something more. Every step feels heavy, slow, but I'm learning how to grow. Scars remind me where I've been. Feel the fire to begin again. But I'm not done. Picking up the pieces, one by one. Rising up, stronger than before. I'm finding me, I'm something more.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Severed Floor podcast. I'm your host, Hinano, here with my co-host, the one and only Raven and Slider. Guys, it's just us four today. It's a slow crew today. But today, guys, we're going to be talking about Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 7, called, I believe it's called A Keith in the Night. Yeah, like a Keith in the Night right here, guys. And guys, this has been an action-packed episode, a very short one, 30 minutes. We're getting ripped off with these episodes.
Not even 30 minutes.
Okay, not even 30 minutes. But for those 30 minutes, this is what happened, guys. Like a Keith in the Night is the penultimate episode of Peacemaker Season 2. The 11th Street Kids grapple with the revelations that their alternate universe, or Earth X, is where Nazis won the World War II, is actually a dystopian nightmare, not a utopia as Chris first imagined. So, captured and confronted by the alternate versions of Augie Smith as well as Keith, who learned the truth about Chris killing his Earth X counterpart and Keith's brother, the team faces emotional turmoil and violence as alliances fracture and unlikely rescues unfold, including Judo Master aiding to Leota Adebayo's against her pursuers. Zippity zap, bitches, as he likes to say, right? The episode builds to the heartbreaking death and sets up to a chaotic escape back to the reality with blending of action, dark humor, and themes that really resonate with a lot of people. Guys, this is what's happening today. This is what we're going to be reviewing. Let me give you a breakdown of what happened with the episode before we get started with our co-host here. The team realizes that they're in a dystopian Earth X. They realize that the Nazis won World War II, and this is basically off of a comic book storyline in DC Comics right here, ripped from the pages itself. Judo Master also rescues Adebayo in a pool scene when you have a bunch of Earth X people chasing her down like they're zombies. Blue Dragon and Captain Triumph also discover that our Chris killed their son, and they're after them, and they're trying to stop them from telling the authorities there that they have possession of the QUC. Also, the revelation as well that you get to see Leota and Judo Master bond with a game of Scrabble. I thought that was hilarious. It ends with a very climactic ending with Augie dying, finding out that he's not a Nazi, as well as a very painful ending to Chris and his brother Keith. As well as we finally get to see that back in our universe, Peacemaker surrenders. He gives the QUC to Argus. And then that's kind of where we leave it off, guys. First off, let me say hi to my co-host. Dee, how are you?
I'm good. I can't wait to talk about this episode with everybody. I felt like the 25 minutes that we had of that show, I was just like there with them, like racing. So like something like you have that feeling, right? When you're like so into the show, like you're part of what they're going through when it goes back and forth, depending on, you know, who's in the scene that we're talking about. So I thought I was part of the action. Yeah, it was a really good episode. too short in my opinion, but nonetheless, it was a great episode. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Raven, how are you? I know you enjoyed this episode.
I
Somebody very spotlighted on this one. Or should I say two
Yes.
people?
Two people, two vigilantes. No, I like Dee said, it is a very short episode, but I have to say every minute of the episode was good.
Yeah.
It was a fun ride. I really enjoyed this one. Again, I will always want more, but I enjoyed what we got.
Now let's go. Slider, you're like me. We're like, what is going on with this duration of time? How are you? Tell us how you liked it so far.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great episode. I mean, it was definitely like, action packed, had a lot of great drama in it, but it definitely was short, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's like shrinkflation hit the TV shows. Because it just, oh man, it's, yeah. I mean, I guess it keeps you wanting more, but it also gives you that feeling of like, man, come on, like, like this could have been like a 4-part miniseries. But anyway, yeah, it was great though, and like I really enjoyed this one. Probably one of the best ones so far. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about it more.
Yeah. Like, you know what I love about this? This is kind of like Infinity War before we got the one after that, right? Endgame. And and this did not disappoint from the start. We see that Keith is chasing down Adebayo, as well as you find out from Peacemaker that they find out that they are actually on Earth X, and basically, the Germans won the war. And so it's very interesting to see this play out because Chris has been here a few times. He's never noticed the flag. He's never noticed the Nazi Bible. And for some reason, he just didn't notice that Hitler was on the wall, right?
Right.
This scene, guys, like I'm a person that loves to edit, right? And I love to add music. And so like I really resonate with what Gunn does with this show, with the music. But this scene was so hilarious because it's like, Harcourt sees everything. She's like, so you didn't see the big Hitler on the wall? And then
he's like, oh no.
Yeah, I love what he says. You think because he sees the book, and he goes, "You think I would look this buff if I looked at books?"
If I read books.
And the best is where you see Harcourt too. She's like, Chris, get away from her. She's like, hey, I think we should break up.
Yeah.
What do you mean we should break up? I'm like, because I'm about to do this. And then she just starts slamming people. You see Harcourt one. She starts getting at it because, like, that's her thing. And he helps her up. She falls on the ground and they run. And I told you, this is my favorite part. Like Peacemaker literally grabs one of the guys and he pushes his face to the ground and he runs out of that office and you hear the intro start, right? And like already right from the start, you're like, oh, it's gonna be a good episode. It's starting off action packed, and that's where we have it right here, you guys. So for me, I really enjoyed the beginning of this episode, but kind of break it down. How'd you guys like the start of this episode? And you can start from anywhere. You can talk about anything. Go ahead, Raven.
No, I was same as you. I really liked the start. It just got going. I thought it was funny how the jetpack wasn't designed for two and they crashed through the window. Like I said, I really enjoyed every minute of this episode. It just went and kept going. And for me, my favorite scene was Judo Master saving Adebayo. And then and it's fun that he broke his record for kill electrocuting people.
Yeah. He's like so proud of it too, right?
But I just thought, bitches. I thought that was cool that he kind of joined their side for a little bit. And their bonding experience playing Scrabble. Yeah. I think was my favorite scene.
We got a lot of that in this episode. Like we got a lot of bonding scenes between certain characters. Harcourt, the dad. We find out that the dad really isn't a Nazi, and we'll get into that. Judo Master, he's not as bad as we thought he was. And then we find out also at the very end, he sides with them, just to kind of like make things a little bit better. But I did enjoy this scene. I didn't know what was going to happen with Adebayo because they make the more heavyset girl do the more running in this episode, right? And like you got a horde of people like World War Z type of zombies, right? Not really Walking Dead, and they're like sprinting after her.
They're fast, yeah.
I didn't understand why she got in the pool.
I was just about to say that. I understand maybe zombies, but people, why?
Maybe she thought like they couldn't swim. No.
Yeah. And at the time, she didn't know that this was a zombie world. And I think it was either you who called it or Slider that called it last week, Raven or Slider. But one of you guys said that Judo Master's going to come in, save Adebayo, and he sure did. And you know what his one-liners, right? Because the last one was like TikTok bitches, and now it's like zippity zap bitches. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was hilarious. You see the smile on his face as he's like really zapping all these Nazis, and and I don't know if it's because it's Nazis or it's just he just enjoys doing these certain things. And then kind of like the kill count, like, oh yeah, you know, well, how much have you electrocuted in a pool before? 4 people, right?
Yeah, and he was so giddy, like, yeah, like I beat my record kind of thing, and he's like, and someone is like asking him how many. Like they're actually interested, like because he has no one really that talks with him, right? And so when Adebayo like asks him that question, he's like 4. He's like so proud of that moment. Sorry, go ahead.
It wasn't me that called that, so it must have been Slider. So great call on that one. Master saving it.
Yeah, I just figured Judo Master was going to come in at some point there and do something because he's sneaky. So.
And we get to know more about him, right? That's what I love about that. And for him, it's like, what does he do? He foolishly went through the door. He got stuck there. The worst place to be. He literally says it, like they don't like, any person of color. They don't like people of like, that like stops sex. And he says like pretty much everything I am, they don't like, right? And even don't like the Cheetos over there because I think it ends in like OH or something.
Yeah,
or everything
ends
something.
in H. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed their Scrabble game that they did. I thought that was funny too.
Their dialogue was funny. Like, there's so much. I didn't realize till the second episodes I catch some of the quotes, but where he was like, she was saying how like Peacemaker isn't that bad, and Judo Master was like his musical taste is like the next door boy in Toy Story, and I'm just like, where does that even come from? Like, that's hilarious.
And I like how of all like the houses he kind of like scrounge around for, and he found this house because it's got the most snacks.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. And he had all that time. So like I wonder how long time passes, right? Because he had time to read all those books behind him on the bookshelf.
Oh, good question.
So like I wonder how much time passes in the QUC than you are in our world, because for them it was like what, a day or 2 or something.
But when Chris went through a couple times, it was in real time, right? He probably was there just like overnight, and he you can do a lot of reading just by like hunkering down. So maybe he's a fast reader. Who knows?
Yeah, it's got Cheeto marks all over each page of the book. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to Keith and the dad right here. I thought this was really cool. We find out that Augie is not a Nazi. He actually is like the bona fide hero. He realizes his world is messed up. He can't do nothing about it. So what he does is he fights injustice the best way he can. Is whatever's in front of him. It sounds like he tried to raise his boys the right way. We also find out he met his counterpart, which is our Peacemaker's dad. He found out that he's really a jerk, and then he's evil, and he's not really the right person. So I really thought this was a really cool kind of like flip of the character right here, because right away we assume he's just as a white supremacist as the original Augie because of the world he's in, and we find out he's the complete opposite. We find out that he's actually forgiving because Peacemaker tells his dad that I accidentally killed your son. I didn't mean to. And, he explains, like, in my world, it's exactly what Augie thought it was, is his dad was, a jerk, and he didn't have a family, right? And so I really enjoyed that. You can see Keith is pissed off, and, I love that actor. I love how he plays the big brother, and I would be that same big brother. Like, I don't give a crap if you're, like, being sincere with this guy. He killed my brother. And then we also find out that the Peacemaker of Earth X, he wasn't really a good dude. He did a lot of drugs. He probably did a lot of bad things. Probably chauvinistic. So it was really cool to see this dynamic. We also find out that these two save Harcourt and Peacemaker in like a little grassy knoll area from the cops, kills all the cops because these two don't want the world knowing that they actually have a quantum unfolding chamber in their library. So very interesting dynamic what's going on here. Kind of break down these two, what you guys thought of it and what you think of the outcome, because you guys all know what happened with the dad. Slider, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think the way James Gunn did this episode, it was really good. Like him kind of making it like in the scene before when Vigilante, you know, like towards the beginning when Vigilante's talking to himself and they're going back and forth and Vigilante's like, well, the Nazis didn't win in our world, and then the other Vigilante's like, wow, you must live in a utopia. And the Vigilante's like, man, not really, you know. And then with this scene with the father, you know, he's like talking about, you know, how he met himself and that he was, there was something wrong with him. He was cruel, you know, he came from a world that was like, you know, much worse than theirs. So it was just kind of like, you know, the grass isn't greener on either side. You know, it's like not black and white. It's like, you know, our world has problems in Earth 1, you know, and then Earth 2 obviously has problems, and it's like, you know, how they deal with it. And you know, the father in the first world, like, you know, a more equal world, you know, than the Nazis, but then he turns into like a racist, you know. And then this one who is in like a racist society, you know, with the Nazis and camps and everything, and he's, you know, like you said, trying to do the best that he can, you know, with what he can, you know. And we don't, and the thing is too, I was thinking about it, I'm like, you know, we don't know if, you know, the, you know, Nazi Superman is in this one. I'm pretty sure if it's going, you know, if it's going by the comic book. So, you know, then, you know, the Nazis have Superman, they probably have like the evil Justice League and everything. So what is
Evil
he really
Guy
gonna,
Gardner, evil Mr. Terrific.
yeah, so what is he really going to do if you think about it? So I just like how Gunn made it. So it's like, you know, he's kind of the opposite of the other one, and he's trying to do what he can. And even when, you know, Keith says like, well, why were you running after her? He's like, you know, that's not how we do things. That's not how I raised you guys or whatever and stuff. So you can see like it's not just him saying this, you know, when he gives that speech, that's what he's trying to, you know, do. So I just thought it was really good how it's not just black and white, you know, there's a lot of gray in there. So yeah, I just thought it was a great scene.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up. I'm so sorry. Real quick, I love that you bring that up because, you know, in the end, it's like this really is the best of both worlds. If you think about it, right? We got to see one side of the world, and now we get to see the other side. And I love that's the complete opposite, at least with the dad, right? Because we were all assuming that the dad was just some big piece of crap. Go ahead. I think it was you, Raven.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think Adebayo summed it up the best when her and Judo Master were having their Scrabble game, where she says, I'm not sure this Nazi world is so much different from our own world. Yeah. And I found that interesting. Yeah.
Because and you bring up the symbolism part too, right?
Right.
With everything that they're kind of doing here with Gunn's trying to do. So, yeah, no, really good episode, really good character development for these guys too. So, and what do you guys think? Do you think Keith is going to be like some arch nemesis now to Peacemaker after what has been done? And we'll get into the end scene shortly, but
yeah, I think so.
I think so. Like, what I liked about this episode regarding the dad is, like, at least for me, the previous episodes, like the few times we saw the dad, I think like the directors made it kind of where they kept us on edge. Like we weren't sure how to like depict the dad. Like in the previous episode before this one, where Economos is hiding in the kitchen and he just like throws what did he throw? Was it the knife he threw? Or he threw something at him, right? When he's like crouching down.
He threw like an apple or something.
Yeah. So like you don't know if it's like, oh shit, like he Economos is caught. Is he gonna like kill him or, you know, do something bad to him.
Yeah.
So I feel like whoever directed each previous episode kind of left us lingering in the dark. Like we couldn't tell whether the dad would be good or bad until episode 7, where we actually got to hear him talk, and we find out like he's, you know, really understanding. He tries to understand and take the time to hear Chris out before he just like, you know, starts, you know, offing people because they deserve it. So I think for me, like I like that they did that. They just kind of like set me like up for like, oh, could he be good or could he be bad? And I really like that he ended up being good. And I loved his speech until we see Vigilante. I'm like, oh shit.
Save the
And
day.
even Chris is like, you see that look on his face. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, because he knows his friend, and his friend doesn't know that, you know, this dad is not so bad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah,
That
and
was
I
sad.
kind of assumed that he was bad just because he was so bad in the other world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think the original Peacemaker was the version of the son he really wanted.
You're
Mm.
right. You know, you're
Yep.
absolutely right. And I wanted to bring that up because I enjoyed this this enactment of Augie from the actor in season 2. I really enjoyed it because I wasn't a fan of the dad from last season, and I guess that's what it was entailed for us to feel, right? Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
not like him, hate him because of what he is, right? And then
Mhm.
that spilled into this season, and you know, you love what Gunn does. He flips everything around, and this
Yeah.
was like one of the best moments for Augie in the entire series, where he comes up. He talks about injustice. He talks about, you know, are you able to do the same things we're able to do, right? I
Yeah.
love that. And then he says, you know, he gets very spiritual. He goes back to God. He's like, you know, and let them judge me at the end of my days. And what we didn't realize, the end of his days was like within seconds.
Yeah.
Because then you see our guy behind there. So let's talk about that, right? So, you know, we're in the part now where basically, oh wait, actually let's talk about this guy. He shows up in the movie. I'm sorry.
Sydney.
Is that his name? I forget his
Sydney
name.
Hopperson.
Sidney Halperson. Okay, he shows up. He's Lex Luthor's dimensional guy right there, and you have Rick Flag Jr. and Bordeaux go to the old Lex Luthor building, and they track down the QUC. They find it at Adrian's house right there, and so they know where this is at. We know that this character has a really disturbing end scene, by the way. I couldn't believe
Yeah.
they did that, but you know, gun is gun. And looks like he's going to be around for a while here. What'd you guys think of seeing someone from Superman? We already seen a few. So
Yeah, because we watched Superman 2 days ago, and there was a part where he's giving them the commands and stuff to for what's his name, the other Superman in the suit.
Oh, Ultraman.
And yeah, I didn't realize that Sydney was one of them. Like, oh, I completely missed him in the Superman movie. Like, I didn't remember him. And so when we watched it, I'm like, okay, there he is. But like the way when he asked Flag Senior, like what is in it for me, kind of thing, like what am I gonna get out of it, or is my sentence gonna be lowered and stuff? And Flag Senior was like, well, no, like I was told that you would just do it. Do you want me to like tell your guy that, you know, you couldn't do what you're supposed to do? And he seemed like he's like intimidated by Lex, right? Because he's like,
Yeah.
oh no, like don't tell on me, kind of thing. So like,
Well, he doesn't get locked up in a pocket universe, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking this is, you know, Gunn said this is going to set it up for like the next movie, but I'm thinking that, you know, Sydney knows that Lex has like a plan, you know, because Lex in the comics and everything, and he always has like backup plans and kind of stuff. So, you know, we've seen like the Man of Tomorrow, like he has his like, you know, super suit, right? that from LexCorp and stuff, and I'm thinking like that Sydney knows that he has this suit, and that might be the backup plan. That he thinks like, you know, he's got this suit and he's got his robots, like he's got him hidden away, and like he doesn't want to mess with, you know, Lex because he knows he's got this like plan set up here. And I also think about that last scene, you know, which was kind of like messed up a little bit, like, you know,
Yeah.
but I think he was doing that because he wanted them to get out of the room, and he was trying to be as vulgar as possible so they would leave, so he could like do something and maybe set up that part, like where the suits fly into like Lex or something. Like, I don't know. I just think there's something going on.
Interesting. Okay.
The Raptor suit, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that Raptor suit? If you look at Captain Triumph, Keith, that's the same suit repainted.
Yep.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
right here.
Hmm.
Yeah, look, that's the Raptor suit. So it from the T right here. If you go and look right here by the neck piece, it's the same. It's the same thing. So
interesting.
You know, that's a really good theory right there, Slider. I never thought about that. You got my gears turning now because you're 100% right. And if Lex is in the next movie with Superman, it could be when they're exploring the QUC, this guy, he sabotages things to a point where maybe he can summon a suit. The suit goes and gets Lex. Maybe Lex at the end of the episode escapes and he goes into the QUC. Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I think something's gonna happen.
I think
another another thing I thought was kind of funny was in this scene was Flag Senior giving also like nickname to the guy Smiley.
Yeah,
so
I didn't
kind of like,
and he's all smiling. He's like, right?
Yeah. I was like, okay, he's Flurry is rubbing off on him. He's now calling people nicknames now. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
yeah, looks like he's gonna have something to do with the end of the series. So can't wait
No,
for that.
I love how that idea of them tying in the movies and the TV series and stuff together is because you don't know what to expect. It's kind of cool, right? Like even seeing Lex in there.
Yeah.
And the synergies that, because like MCU tried to do this, right? They started with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know if you remember that, Slider, and it was okay. They did an okay job, but some stuff really fell flat. It felt disjointed. Even in the Netflix series, they didn't feel cohesive. They didn't feel like they were together. With Gunn, everything feels like they're together, and when it doesn't feel like it's together, it's purposely made that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, come on, he pretty much retconned the DCEU within one episode, right? So it's very interesting to see where we go. Moving on, let's talk about Raven's favorite characters right here. We have a dynamic duo that we find out is exactly who Raven thought that they were. They're two best friends. They find each other at the very beginning. I really thought that we were going to have a different outcome. These two come together. Vigilante 1 tells Vigilante 2 that this is Earth X, not these 1, and we got to save your friends. And they're here. They're back at the Augie T mansion, and they're ready to save their friends. And I love this little tryst that's going on between Vigilante 1, our Vigilante, and Judo Master. And it's freaking hilarious. Like this little piece of crap, or however he's saying his name. And I just love the dialogue in here. So unpack this scene right here. We're going to go with you first, Raven.
Just going back to when the start of the episode where they're having that conversation and explaining it to each other. I love that it was just like so quick in the sense of they just had a conversation. There was no drama. There was no fighting. They were listening to each other and they're on the same side.
Yeah.
I like how compact and simple that was. But yeah, the two of them, again, that's why I said, if you give me season 1 of Vigilantes, I will watch that. Like the two of them together, like 2 is better than 1.
Right.
Yeah. No, I love their dynamic. I really do.
Yeah. And I gotta say too, for when you brought that up in the beginning when they're first talking, I love how like in this series, even though there are some really serious parts, they do sprinkle in some like funny parts to just get you through it, and then they continue on with the serious stuff. So when they were talking on the couch, and our Vigilante's like, oh yeah, so I have a friend who's like technically of color, And he's like, well, like technically, like is she
Can't
or is
tell?
she not? Like you can't tell. And he's like, oh shit, we gotta go, because he knows, like, you know, they don't like people of color in this world. We gotta go save your friend. And then off they go. And then they end up here. And they have this conversation, and I what you call I love their dynamic, just the
Me
two
too.
of them. And even when our vigilante is like telling ads, hey, guess which one I am? It's like,
And she
let me
guesses it right away.
think. Yeah, let me think. He's like, you know how he's like, oh right. Come on, dude. Like, you're a smart guy, but you're also like can be kind of like
Gully.
gully at times.
Very gully.
Yeah.
No.
And
But
then
I like it.
she says, "I'm saved," like because he's
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna save you." She's like, "I'm saved, thanks."
Yeah.
No, they're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting, because we talked a lot about this episode. It was a 30-minute episode with so many things, from that funny
Mhm.
intro to that bike ride where you could see Harcourt really loving Chris, to like the
Yeah.
interactions with the dad, to Adebayo, to seeing you know, the other side with like Rick Flag, and then this, and then we move to the very end where we have that heartfelt speech from Augie right here, and then this guy comes in and kills the dad because he thinks the dad is a Nazi. We see him in the back of Augie right here. He breaks through the window, starts stabbing him. It's freaking out Peacemaker. You see Keith. Keith is pissed. Keith is
Yeah.
ready to
Yeah.
literally turn Peacemaker into dust. And the dad is literally trying to keep him at bay. The dad is just trying to be calm, cool. The dad was even going to let them go because he understood that his son was not in right mind. He also understands this is my son from an alternate universe who is very, very you know, heartfelt. Like, he means well. He didn't mean to do any of these. He can see that as a father, right? I really love
Yeah.
the father
Me
son
too.
bond that he wish he had, that was connecting here. And it's all ripped out of them right here when you
In
got
seconds.
in seconds when the dad dies. And then you have Keith literally trying to beat up Peacemaker as they're trying to run away. He slams through the wall. Everyone pulls him back, and they start stabbing the brother. And then you see John Cena. Like, John Cena right here in this scene. Like, already, like the last scene when he was with Harcourt in the office, I thought it was beautiful. This scene right here where all the emotion comes out. He tells him to stop hurting my brother because he's
Yeah.
reenacting his brother dying again.
Yeah.
You see that scene. He's right above. He yells at him, "What is wrong with us?" Which is the truth. What is wrong with us? And then he comes to a realization that everything he touches dies. And he realizes that he's the problem. He apologizes to his brother. Adebayo grabs him. They go through the QUC, but not before Harcourt grabs a gun from one of the vigilantes. And I told Raven this. We don't know which vigilante went through the QUC. We still don't. They could have just had something where, like, oh, let's switch places. It'd be cool, right? I can see them doing that. Well, we don't know what happened, but Harcourt tries to shoot Keith. She's unable to do that because of a surprise cop that came in at the last minute from last season. And so Harcourt jumps in the QUC, and then one of the vigilantes closes the door behind them and locks away Earth X for now. And they run back to the final area, which is their own Earth, where they encounter Argus. Guys, let's unpack this scene right here. The scene had a lot going on. We'll start with you, Slider.
Yeah, I think this scene was really good. The one before it, when like the father, you know, is dying and Keith is over him, you know, and he's saying like, "What have you done to us?" You know, and it's kind of like the reverse, almost in a different way, but the reverse of Peacemaker. Like, he's falling into Peacemaker's role where like his father's dead now, like his brother's gone, like he really has nobody, you know, and like Peacemaker did it, you know, and then like in the next scene, it's like Peacemaker's reliving his trauma because they're all on his brother, you know, and he's getting stabbed, and then he's yelling out like, "What are we doing? Stop!" You know, and then you see him trying to, you know, apologize to his brother and stuff, but his brother is just like, kind of like, you know, it looks like he's checked out, like he's just not wanting to hear it really, you know. But it's like a weird thing where it's like now Keith has kind of got that thing that Peacemaker had in the other world. So is he going to turn into a villain? You know, like I think he probably is, but it's kind of like the opposite, where Peacemaker went through all that stuff and he turned into like, you know, an anti-hero and kind of like, you know, didn't go full that way. But I think I think Keith is going to go
Full
that
right.
way. So, yeah, I think he's just gonna, you know, go. But I'm not sure how they're gonna do it though, because they said there's not gonna be a season 3. So maybe if there's a spin-off, like if Peacemaker and all of them are kind of in it, like maybe he would come back. But I'm not sure. But either way, I just thought it was like a great, you know, great scene, and definitely John Cena like definitely showed his like acting skills in this one. I thought he did really good in this one. I mean, you could definitely feel his pain and trauma and everything. And Keith too. He's a really good actor also, you know. So they all did great. They all did great. You know, that was just a great scene. But also I think Vigilante is our Vigilante that got through, because I was like watching it a couple of times, like slowing it down. Now I don't know if they switched. I don't know if they switched suits, but you notice the Vigilante from Earth 2, he had 2 guns. And if you watch at the end, Hardcore says, "Give me the gun," and he's got 2 guns on his hips, and he gives him his left gun. He's still got the right gun, but the other Vigilante, he had the sword and the knives, and I think 1 gun, but that one went through. So I'm pretty sure that our Vigilante did go through, and that's the other one. But I don't, like I said, I don't know. They could have switched in the suits before that whole thing happened, you know. So you could be right with that. So I don't know, but either way, I just thought it was a really great part of that, you know, episode.
And I only bring that up because I know Gunn. You know, Gunn likes to just twist things up. He likes to twist the knife at the end. He likes to do like the opposite of what we think is going to happen. Go ahead, Raven.
No, and I was just going to say, like, I totally agree with everything Slider said. But the emotion in this scene and the yell and just his face and everything, like, you have this guy that has come to this dimension because he wanted to experience what having a family would be like. Then to see that all be ripped away. And he's lost family in the first dimension, and now in the second dimension, and now it's like he'll never have it again. Like, like he nailed that scene. Like, that was, you could feel it.
You hear it at the end too, right, Raven? Like,
Pardon?
he literally goes when he's because he says the word fuck, but he says it in a way where it's like you have that crying in your voice, like, you know what I mean? And you can see the
inside.
Yes.
No.
And he's even hugging his brother, and I'm sure the brother's like, "Get off me," right? So,
no, great scene.
Yeah. Great actor. Yeah, that was really like like everything just kind of happened fast, but when it came to the emotional parts, like you could actually really feel it, with everything just so chaotic or like happening around. So I mean, yeah, it's like kind of coming like full circle in a way, where he's reliving it. Like before it was his brother at a young age, like what, 12 years old or something, and then now he gets to see his brother being attacked like as a grown man. So
by
for
his
him,
friends.
by his friends, and they're just like all corralled on him. And freaking Eagly, man, with like the poking of people's head and like their foreheads and their eyes, and I'm like, dang, you just go right for it. But yeah, like great acting on his part. One of the scenes I really like too is when the cops come in, and like, as soon as they broke through the door, and then you see both vigilantes just like start shooting. I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I love that scene. Just to see them in action. And at the end, when they're all going through the door and he does his like high kick and closes the door, I was like, that is so cool. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna somehow get Keith. I mean, you can see that look on his face when they're pulling him away on the what do you call it, on the stretcher. And he's not in a happy place. He's not like, you can see that look on his face, like he wants vengeance, revenge for his brother and his father dying. So however that's gonna play out in the I don't know, he's gonna be part of a movie or something. I feel he's gonna find a way to come back for vengeance, because the dad didn't get a chance to change the freaking pin code, and they all kind of left, and he gave the controller to Argus. So nobody changed the pin code. Come on now, that's the first thing. Change the pin code, so you don't get hacked. But
well, maybe
anyways.
they can't change it from the other end. Maybe it can only be changed from the world side, right, and not from the QUC side. Because technically the lock's on the door, right? Not necessarily the door on the inside, but the out. But then there is a representation of it on the inside too. So I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna play out, but yeah, lots of different feelings, like action, sadness, just like pain, and just like beginning of darkness, all in like this scene that happened in like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, great acting on all their parts.
Yeah, I think a villain was made in that scene there.
Yeah.
And I think the way that Gunn does things, right? It's like, because we've already seen it. We've got Lex Luthor in here. We've had the Justice Gang in here. We've had Lex's henchmen. This guy will return. Maybe not in Peacemaker, but like in Lanterns or in some other iteration, right? Or Mr. Terrific type of series, because Gunn did say he is working on a very secret series, and I think it's a Mr. Terrific series. But just like the whole idea that this is the DCU, they're doing similar to what the MCU did. But what I like about what the DCU is doing is they're really intertwining it to where everything is close. So I think this guy's coming back, you guys. We don't know when. This was also a powerful scene right here where Harcourt's like, and you can tell right here, she's not only doing this for his safety, but she does love the guy. And so, and unfortunately, she's unable to do that. She's unable to shoot him. But luckily, I think it was this guy was right here. He saved her, kicked her through the door. And now we are stuck here where Argus now has taken Peacemaker. And also, Peacemaker told them, the 11th Street kids, they came through the portal to get me. They convinced me to come back and give you this portal machine. And then Judo Master concurs with this. And everyone pretty much walks away free except for Peacemaker. We don't know what happens to the rest of the team. And then we say Chris in the car at the end scene right here, feeling like shit, because not only did his alternate brother get hurt, but his alternate father is dead. And there's all this turmoil going on. And so we don't know what's going to happen. And so now we have Speculation Nation on what's going to be happening, because, guys, we were told right here that there is no season 3. Gunn confirms there are no plans for a Peacemaker season 3, but that doesn't mean that there aren't plans for these characters. So we're not going to get a Peacemaker season 3. Like hell, we're not. Come on. Like, this is literally the 2 series that are like doing the most best for DC. I'm pretty sure sooner or later we'll get a Peacemaker season 3, unless they announce next week that it's a series finale. That would be terrible. But we'll have to see, guys. But as they say, this was absolute cinema right here. Kind of give me you guys overall thoughts on the episode, as well as your guys' speculation on what will happen next week. Next week is the final episode until we get otherwise any other information. Slider, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, this episode, like I said, I think it was really good. I think they, Gunn did a great job of like, having the characters, really deal with like their trauma and just bringing it to the surface, and all of them kind of like, had something going on, even Hardcore at the end where she like, pulls the gun, like she's like kind of like making a decision, like I'm gonna kill him even if it costs me the relationship with Peacemaker or whatever, because I'm sure she probably knows if she kills his brother, like he's not gonna be happy about that, but she's gonna do it anyways just so he doesn't come after him. So I thought that was a really good scene. But the next episode, I mean, I kind of seen the preview a little bit where they were just showing them like finally, like we've seen it before the season even started, where they're opening up the doors now and stuff. So it seems like they're gonna. It kind of gave me like Stargate vibes, right? Like where they're going into all the worlds and stuff. But I'm thinking, I'm like, guys, you need to like use a drone to go through first. So you know what's going on. They're just walking in there, and
with like the Stranger Things rope, right? So
something. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting. I think it's going to lead to Superman Man of Tomorrow, where they're going to run into like either Brainiac, or I'm still thinking it's going to be, I think it's going to be Brainiac in the next movie, but I think Darkseid's world is going to get entered somehow. Like he's going to catch wind of this, and then that's going to like open it up and stuff, because I still think this portal tech comes from the New Gods and all that kind of stuff, and somehow it's linked through there. But like, yeah, I think the worlds that they're going into and they're messing around with, that is gonna like open up something, and then they're gonna need Lex. I think it's gonna be like they're gonna need Lex because he's the one that has the most experience with the portal worlds, and that's how him and Superman team up, and it's going to be a threat that comes through either the portal after them, or it's going to come in a different way. But now they know that, they exist for some reason, and they want to take over the world, which is kind of where I'm going with Brainiac, because that's what he does. He like destroys worlds, he takes them over. So, that's just kind of my spec on that.
I'm with you on this one, and I'm really thinking now after your theory on, on the origins of the QUC. I really think Brainiac is kind of like a direction they could go with that specific construct, right? Because it really feels like that QUC could be some type of construct that was created by Brainiac or in that realm. And I also think you're right in terms of they will find the world where Darkseid's at, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're 100% right on that. It's going to be very interesting because Gunn said that season 2 of Peacemaker, episode 8, is the episode that he pitched to Discovery, Zaslav, for the overall encompassment of the DCU. This specific Peacemaker episode. So it's very interesting that he says that, because then you really got to look at the reference of like, because you're saying it right off the bat. The QUC is like a Stargate thing where you can pretty much jump through every portal. In this episode, they pretty much establish the science and all, right? And the science is basically that it's a stable wormhole versus like Lex. They couldn't keep anything stable. It was wobbly, as the guy said, right? This is a stable wormhole that everybody wants a piece of. They want to like, monetize it in a way. So it's going to be very interesting, and I love it when you start meddling with things that you don't understand, right? I feel like that's what's going to happen. They're going to meddle with Pandora's box, and they're really going to meet its fate. Raven, what do you think?
Yeah, for this season, or for this episode 7, for it being 30 minutes, the amount we were able to talk about it and dive into it, every little aspect of it, I find that fascinating, that you could cram all that into 30 minutes and have that be like different levels of emotions too. I'm a little like, I'm not great at the speculation thing, but I'm a little disappointed that I don't believe we'll be going back to that dimension. I feel like that door has closed. But like Sutter said, there's a million other doors that can be opened. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. I would like them to tie it into, like, I want to know what that alien dude's problem is. What he's like, why?
Taking out the rat every day.
Like, is he the creator of that? Was he the alien that crashed on Earth? Like, is he the creator of that that dimensional box thing? I don't know.
Interesting.
Because didn't they get that thing like when they were in the woods hunting? Because an alien spacecraft.
Yeah, almost looked like a nymph from the 5th dimension.
But I feel like I still have so many questions about that other dimension still. Like, why is Vigilante the only one that is not opposite of himself? You know what I mean? They're pretty much the same person. I wonder why.
Wasn't that a constant though? Like, isn't there like a theme in like sci-fi where it's like there's always one character that will always remain the same no matter what dimension you go through? So
Interesting.
maybe
But no,
he's that constant.
yeah. So I don't know. I can't speculate. I'm not really sure, but I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, maybe. But we didn't see the opposite of Economos either in this world.
We didn't even talk about Economos. Oh my gosh,
The
Economos.
guy that spent how many
Oh,
days
yes.
tied to a chair?
Here.
Hilarious. Like that was hilarious. Okay, like he literally is in the chair. Let's go back to Economos real quick. His one-liners were the best. I don't know these guys. I've never met them before. Nice try, John. And then he's like, "Fuck," you know what
He
I mean?
gives
The
up
John,
so
right?
quickly.
I know. His interaction in the beginning with Eagly. Eagly, go and freaking like mess them up. Go get them. And Eagly like walks away and comes back
You're
with a
selfish.
piece of string. Like, I didn't say I wanted a piece of string. Like, how is that supposed to help me?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you're the one tied up and you're still being so mean to this animal.
Well, the
You
best
He's
know,
is
really
trying
you're
smart,
so
by the way.
selfish. Because Eagly wanted something from the fridge.
Yeah.
He wanted bologna.
Well, he saved Eagly, right, in a few episodes back from like the white or from that dude, right, Red or whatever. But the best is when they were trying to escape, right? When the cops are like raiding the whole place, they're trying to run back. They all forget him. He's all on the ground, like, "You pieces of crap! What about me?" And they start dragging him.
Drag him.
It was hilarious. Yeah,
That
he
was.
is literally the comic relief in every single episode. You gotta love this guy. So
Is there a GIF of him? We need a GIF of him with the fuck. Someone make that if it hasn't already been done.
He's also like that one part where he's like, well, if we do have to leave him, then we have to leave him. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta leave you. We gotta leave you.
Yeah,
John,
John.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, and then he also had that other line where I think it was when Peacemaker was explaining like how he killed himself basically and like pushed himself up with the rocket into the chandelier thing or whatever it was. And
I wasn't
there.
part of that.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I wasn't there for that part. So yeah, he has some good one-liners. Yeah, he's definitely a great comic relief.
Yeah, I didn't know he was King Shark as well in Suicide Squad. That was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
For a guy who has vertigo, right? But
yeah.
Well, but anyways, that's pretty much what's going on with Peacemaker, guys. My spec right here is we're not going to get Overman. I don't think he's coming now. I was completely wrong. But Gunn said that Superman is not showing up. He's specific on what he says. Superman. That doesn't necessarily mean Clark Kent won't show up. He does work for the Daily Planet. This would be very newsworthy if they find out something happened to the QUC and it became, public knowledge. I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to have a big, oh crap, and the world's going to find out that there's some crazy stuff going on at Adrian's house. So, oh wait, no, they moved it. That's right. It's not going to be Adrian's house anymore. But you know what I'm saying right here. I think that's what's going to happen. Biggest Bro, he had a really good spec. He thought because Peacemaker's going to prison that one of the guest stars coming, because we have some guests that's going to be coming in next episode. And one of the guests will be Harley Quinn because that's where she is from Suicide Squad. She's been in the prison, right? And so Big Bro thinks that Harley Quinn is going to make an appearance and that's going to kind of entail that. So that also means, guys, that it's not just them that's in the prison. Creature Commandos is there, right? You got King Shark. You got all those guys there, right? So we could have a whole entire reunion of the Suicide Squad and the Creature Commandos all in one.
So that's where Economos is. In jail as King Shark. Oh.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be. I don't know. I'm thinking it might be like Supergirl might show up. In this because that movie's coming up, or maybe even Lobo. I don't know because he's supposed to be in that. I heard. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I could definitely see Harley Quinn. I think that's a pretty good one. Like that would definitely be like my second. I'm still thinking Supergirl, but I could definitely see Harley Quinn.
Well, check this out though, right? Like. Gunn could do whatever the hell he wants because they've got a now quantum unfolding chamber, right? They could go in a door and run into Ben Affleck. You know what I'm saying? Like they can run into anybody, and like I really hope that's what happens, right? Not only do we get like cameos from the DCU, but like he throws little nods here and there, right? Because some people weren't happy with the old regime, so maybe Gunn hired them, and they can come back as like little cameos here, little nods and little nudges to the old management. But I would love to see, like, even if Ezra Miller showed up, or Grant Gustin from The Flash, anybody can show up, right?
Could you imagine if there was a door to the Marvel universe?
Oh my gosh. Because of the comic books, right? And
then
Deadpool shows up.
opens it. Oh my god.
You know, Vigilante and Deadpool, wouldn't that be an awesome?
I was gonna say,
amazing,
yeah.
Amazing.
Deadpool,
Vigilante.
Yeah, it's a lot of spec, guys. And for spec, this time we turn to the AI. It's a rarity that I turn to the AI for this stuff because it's never right. But this time I did ask our AI over here what it thought might happen in the series finale, we think, of Peacemaker. And here's what she thought. Speculation number 1, Chris's prison break and redemption arc climax. I believe Chris is overwhelmed by guilt over the death tied to his actions, echoing his Angel of Death line in the trailer. He could orchestrate a breakout with the help of the 11th Street kids visiting him. This might force a final confrontation with his trauma, perhaps reliving killing his brother Keith, but in a twisted multiverse echo where he spares or redeems an alternate family's members. I don't know about that. Fans speculate this wraps his redemption, positioning him for future DCU teams without a straight season. I don't think he's going to do that. What do you guys think? I don't think he's going to break out of prison.
I think he's going to be like too sad. Like, I think honestly, his friends are the ones that are going to have to try and convince him. Right? Like, I think he's going to be in a bad mental state.
Yeah.
I think they might try to break him out, like Raven said. Like, I think they might convince him, like Hardcore might get him to get out of there. Because, you know, another scene that they showed in that preview, it looks like maybe towards the end of, you know, episode 8, the next one, like they're all grabbing the money out of Vigilante's house and they're all like happy and they're shoving it in like trash bags and stuff. So it looks like they're either on the run or, I mean, because it looks like they're rushing and they're like grabbing it all, but they're all looking so happy. So it seems like there's some kind of resolution at the end of that. So, I mean, I don't think they would be that happy without Peacemaker. So I'm thinking somehow they get him and then they go on the run and they get all that money from Vigilante and then they take off, or, you know, I don't know, something happens.
Maybe they start their own Suicide Squad, right? Or maybe the new show called the 11th Street Kids.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay. Well, here, let's continue. Speculation number 2, Argus multiversal mission gone wrong. As Rick Flag Sr. leads an expedition through the QUC's stable portals, contrasting Lex Luthor's unstable tech, exploring bizarre dimensions like a Willy Wonka-esque candy world or one with giant skeleton spiders. I did see that. Hinting at an undead zombie-like horror akin to a DCU Marvel Zombies episode. This could backfire, unleashing threats that spill into the main universe, forcing the team to intervene and questioning Argus's motives beyond mere exploration. I'm going to continue. Captain Triumph may also make an appearance as the ultimate antagonist to Peacemaker. Surviving the episode 7 fight and vowing revenge against Peacemaker, Keith could pursue the team through the portals to their Earth. This sets up a brutal showdown where Chris must kill his brother, figuratively again, amplifying his emotional arc. Some theorize Keith becomes a punished Venom version, enhanced by Earth X tech, making him the season's true villain over Flag Sr. I'm going to continue on again, guys. DCU's wide teases as well a Brainiac setup. The finale acts as a prequel to Man of Tomorrow, with Argus's portal experiments introducing Brainiac as a multiversal collector of realities. Teased via distorted faces, melting effects, or shadowy villain cameos. This would explain Luthor/Superman's team up in the next movie, with a major consequence for the DCU, like new alliances or threats bleeding into the Superman world. No major cameos like Superman per Gunn has been hinted yet, although G.I. Robot has been hinted to maybe make an appearance. And I'm going to end it with this, guys. The team also is fractured, and the Vigilante twist. Unlikely alliances are fractured under the multiverse strain, with theories of Vigilante maybe swapping with the other Adrian from Earth X, leading to a heartfelt or comedic reveal. The 11th Street Kids might disband or reform, setting up Waller's series. Repercussions as Chris rejects bigger DCU offers to stay with his found family. That's right. There is a Waller series right there. And then it also says right here, emotional and thematic payoff with the humor. And no traditional season 3, but the characters' futures remain. Gunn hints no direct season 3, but the finale plants seeds for Chris and his allies in the projects like Amanda Waller's new series, the Justice League Gang's speculative series, as well as other series like Creature Commandos, Blue Beetle, as well as Lanterns. So that's the speculation right there from the AI. It was a lot to take in. You guys agree with any of that?
I think for me, I think it's just like the biggest part I agree with is that it will be a lead in to other things.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a setup to whatever comes next. Yeah.
I totally agree.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. I think there's definitely going to be some like some mishaps. Like I think they're going to go in there looking for like, you know, they say like tech or whatever that can help, you know, their world, and I definitely think it's going to go all wrong, and it's going to be Brainiac or maybe like Darkseid, but I'm leaning towards Brainiac. But I definitely think there's going to be that. But the other part, like, I don't see them breaking up. Like, I kind of like I see them more coming together. I mean, maybe without Peacemaker, maybe he stays in jail or something. But I kind of see them coming together. But you know, I don't know, but I think, yeah, it definitely sets up the next movie, and you know, we're gonna see something. I really do like how Gunn is like weaving the, you know, TV shows and everything together, and you know, he's doing a really good job with that. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm really happy with like that. You know, unlike you said before, Andrew, like the MCU, you know, because it made me think about it. You know, they had like that one TV show, you know, Secret Invasion, you know, where it's like the Skrulls and stuff, and it's like, man, I watched like the first 2 episodes of that, and I was just like, it doesn't really even tie in. That they try to make it with, you know, with Fury, and it's just like, I mean, it just
didn't work.
They didn't work. It didn't work, you know, and it was so far afterwards and stuff. So yeah, I don't think the MCU did a really good job with most of that, with the TV shows tying in, but I think Gunn's doing a really good job so far. So yeah, I'm excited.
You know what's so interesting is I think what's going on with Gunn, and we all know this already. This is why the phase 3 of the MCU has hit its downfall, in my opinion. The studios and the corporations get involved. You know, you get the board of directors involved. You have suits involved. With Gunn, it sounds like, because he said it many times in his podcast, they have given him full creative control. Yeah. And so when you have an executive producer director that has full creative control of an entire universe, you can craft however you want. That's why we're able to have this TV show. This TV show would not exist if it was the old regime of DC during the Zack Snyder days. I'm sure of it. So it's very interesting what's going on here. And I love, even though some people don't like Gunn's flavor because he's a very weird dude, I love what he's doing here. I love how the DCU is colorful. I love that we get to see DC characters. And I love that it's not about the powers all the time. It's really about the person. You know, he could have had a show about John Cena, this big buff wrestler beating up dudes for the name of freedom. No, he created a show about people and their personas, whether they're vigilante or economos or freaking peacemaker. It's just that's just their alter egos. What we really get to see in these shows is the people. These shows are about people. And that's what I love about the DCU. It's about people. It's not about the powers. I'll leave it at that. So, you know, great episode, guys. I enjoyed it. I thought this was great. We're at the hour mark. Kind of give me your closing remarks and we'll get out of here. Slayer.
Yeah, like I said, it was a great episode. You know, little short, but you know, I like the direction Gunn's going, and you know, just like, you know, like you said, I think he really is like kind of doing what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, kind of making them this ragtag band, you know, of people that come together and then kind of become a family. And then, you know, that shoots off into different parts of the, you know, MCU multiverse, you know, because if you think about it towards the end, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, they had a pretty big role in like all the different, like, you know, stuff out in space and everything, you know. So I think Gunn's trying to do that, but like with DC, you know, DC's always kind of been like more like dark, gritty, you know, for like some of it, you know, like not all of it. Like Superman, he has his part, you know, but like Batman and some of the other ones, like, you know, it's a lot about like, you know, the characters and like street level stuff. And, you know, you can get a lot more of like, you know, emotions and stuff. And it's not always just a superhero saving the world and stuff. And, you know, I think Gunn has done a good job with both of those. So you can kind of see his range through this. You know, with Superman, I think he did what he had to do. It was great. It kind of brought me back to the to the old Superman, you know, but then with this one, he's kind of giving me that like Batman, like 80s Batman feel to it. So I think it's just he's really good at what he's doing. And I'm surprised too, because I didn't really know how it was gonna turn out, you know, because DC has been like I mean, Snyder, like some of his stuff I liked, but overall it was kind of like hit or miss, really, you know. So I'm just happy.
And it wasn't Snyder's fault, by the way, right? Like if you actually go watch the interviews with Snyder, the studio really meddled a lot with what was going on. Originally, we weren't supposed to get Batman Superman or Batman vs Superman. We were supposed to get Man of Steel 2, but the studio wanted to rush a Batman Superman movie, and that's why we kind of got what we got. But in a good way, that worked out, right, Slider? Because we wouldn't have gotten Gunn in charge.
Yeah, the studio definitely like did way too much, you know. And then like The Rock, you know, they talked about The Rock trying to come in and take over and like him wanting to be the main like person. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, I'm glad Gunn does have like creative rights to do whatever he wants pretty much. So
well, I'll take Cena over The Rock any day. So
yeah. Same.
Raven, final thoughts.
Yep, I've enjoyed both seasons. I wish there was a third season. Like you were talking about, it's about the characters, not necessarily the powers. And I agree, because any of those characters get a spin-off, and I watch it.
Yeah.
I won't even, like, there's no question. I would watch it 100%. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the final episode. That makes me sad. But I hope it's really good. And I just hope there is some closure. Like, I know it will lead into other things, but I hope there is some closure with the characters that we have and that we've kind of grown attached to.
Well, remember now, guys, there's going to be a closure, not necessarily with this show, but this segment of the show, because we're coming to the end of Peacemaker. This has been a very fun time reviewing this show with you guys. And I was talking with, I think it was Shane a few weeks back, because we kind of started this last year when we started, reviewing Severance. And Severance was such a fun show to review that we would just kind of, it was like a passion thing where like we couldn't wait to talk about it in the next episode. And although I enjoy every movie review and TV review we do here, this show has been so much fun. I keep telling Dee, like, I look forward to talking about this show with you guys, because it's a rare occasion that we find a show like this, you know, where it's like, it's about the characters, and then you fall in love with these characters. I mean, I love that bird over there, that silly looking duck.
No, I need an eagle.
You know, it's like,
there are other birds too, you know, like ravens.
That's very true. That's very true, Raven. There's also ducks. But the one thing that I do love is, like, John Cena, Peacemaker, is really turning into one of my favorite DC characters, right? Like, I'm a big Batman Superman fan, right? And from the female side, it's Supergirl, but like, this guy that just came out of nowhere, like, I'm looking for Peacemaker comic books, guys. I'm looking for graded comic books. I'm looking for the first appearance of Peacemaker. Like, I am like really getting enthralled in the character. I'm trying to find this guy's costume for Halloween. You know what I mean? Like, that's how cool this guy is. And so, like, this hero isn't necessarily for everybody. Like, I wouldn't want my son to watch him right now, right? But like, this is one
definitely of my, not episode 1, season 2.
No. But like, he is really turning into one of my favorite DC characters. Like, you know, Mr. Terrific was a standout for me, but John Cena Peacemaker, like, I want to see Peacemaker in a Superman movie. Not necessarily with the fucks and shits because the kids, but just to have him there, because he deserves to be in the Justice League, Justice Gang, or something of that sort, because he is that good. So anyways, This has been fun, you guys. I appreciate everyone. Before we go, I do want to show one trailer. I was going to show two, but there's one trailer, and it's for a new show that our co-producer here conceived a few weeks back. And I'm going to play this trailer. Tell me what you guys think.
Worn out shoes on a gravel road, carrying dreams with a heavy load. Sunset fades, but the heart's still strong. Every step's where we belong. Through the doubts and the long hard nights, we find our way in the morning light. Keep on, we're holding tight, chasing life through the endless fight. No giving up when the world feels gone. This is our life, we just keep moving on. Ooh. Cold runs dry, but we rewrite the lines. Building worlds where the future shines. Coffee cups and a late night home. True's the place where the real ones come. From broken plans to the things we make, we rise again with each mistake.
Okay, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here. I'm not really going to explain what the show's about, but it's a really cool idea that Raven conceived. And I'm just going to tell you this. We've been talking about the DCU. We've been talking about the DCEU. Heck, we've even talked about the MCU. You guys just seen a sneak peek of the TRU, which is the real universe. And if you guys have not noticed here that we are literally forming our own universe here at True Media Group with all of our shows, with all of our AIs. And so I'll leave it at that. That next year in 2026, you guys will get to see what the TRU will really look like here. So let's go. Guys, closing thoughts, final words. Slider, end it for yourself. Let's go.
Yeah, man, that looks like a really cool idea. I'm interested now. So, no,
You
like I
might
said,
be in it, my friend.
you're the robot. I'm the robot. I was dancing in the intro. I saw that.
Heck yeah.
But, yeah, no, guys, it was a great show, and yeah, just it was awesome. Again, just love talking about it, and it's just it's a good time. So glad to be here, and thanks everybody. So.
Awesome. Raven.
Thank you, Slider.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. And it's funny because even before we go live, it's like we had to stop talking because we just want to keep talking about it, get into it. So I watched it again today. I've always looked forward to it. It's so much more fun to watch and enjoy these shows with your friends too.
Yeah.
And get to chat about it and dive into it. So yeah, thank you guys. Always a blast.
Let's go. D.
Yeah, it was really fun. Looking forward to next episode, last supposed episode for the season. But yeah, I've been enjoying this really a lot, and I really enjoy when we have a lot more people on the panel. But with just us four, it was also really good too. Yeah, I mean, an hour went by just talking about a 20-second episode.
20 seconds.
God, I'm gonna write him a nasty letter. Why is it so short? Give me more. By the way, come on our show. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next one to talk about. And it'll be really awesome, bittersweet kind of a thing to end this season off, or maybe series off. But always looking forward to the next thing that we talk about too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, everybody.
Guys, I'm bummed. We got the series or season, whatever they're going to call it, finale next week. It's going to only be 60 minutes long, even though Gunn's saying it's going to be very long. I'm like, that's an hour, man. Come on. That's 1 hour. But we're going to get an hour instead of 30 minutes or 42 minutes. I'm not looking forward to it. Like, this has become a show that I'm really enjoying. I'm falling in love with the characters. I love what Gunn's doing. You know, everybody knows D and I are big DC fans. To see the DCU come to life the way that it's supposed to, the way our characters are supposed to. I mean, like, I think DC really has a hit here. I hope that they keep running, and I hope that we get to see more creative things for these guys. And Gunn stays there for a very, very long time. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us for the 75 plus eyeballs watching right now. If you're watching live or on the replay, guys, we do have virtual radio on Tuesday. And D, who's the guest for virtual radio on Tuesday?
Virtual radio. Oh, we have Vincent Zerzolo and David Quinn. And they will be talking about New York Comic Con and what they got cooking up for the event. So stay tuned. Come and join us at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there. Don't be a square.
There you go. Catch us on Tuesday, guys. Still not sure what's going on at Future Watch. We've had some cancellations on the guests, and also my work schedule is kind of wonky, guys. So we're definitely going to try to get Future Watch back, even though the show was created around Futureverse. It'll be a standalone show now. So
it's a standalone, yeah.
But guys, this has been fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we're going to catch you guys on Tuesday. Take care. Until the next time. Aloha.
Broken down.